The Little Troll Prince. A Christmas Parable is a 1987 animated holiday-themed special for television produced by Hanna-Barbera. Backed by the International Lutheran Laymen's League, it has strong Christian themes of unconditional love, self-sacrifice, and redemption, with a substantial Protestant influence. The story was a written parable script for the Christmas special with a lesson about the feeling of joy and love in one's heart that can lead one from a cruel world to a light-hearted world. Synopsis. In a Norwegian mountain village, children play under the shadow of a sinister mountain of the trolls. In one small cottage, a gnome named Boo is happily decorating his own home with Christmas decorations, aided by mice and birds. He explains to the viewers that the Christmas season doesn't really start for him until the arrival of the Christmas tree, at which point two girls and their father return to the cottage dragging a tree on a sleigh. When the humans set the tree up in their home below, the uppermost branches are pushed through a hole in the attic to form a miniature tree for the gnome. He quickly decorates the tree, topping it with a minuscule Bible. Boo explains that while humans and gnomes love Christmas, trolls do not. He explains that trolls live high in the mountains because they fear our world. To them, all that is good is bad, all that is right is wrong, and that Christmas is scarier than Halloween. They have no word for love, and do not believe in God. He adds that he knows all this because the previous year he not only lived among the trolls, but was their crown prince. The film turns to the previous December. Boo narrates how his father, the two-headed King Ulvik, could grow so angry that storms would sweep across Norway. Ulvik is shouting at his wife Queen Sirena for having given him the insulting news that Boo is failing his lessons at Sinister School. Sirena waves his anger, displaying an obvious favoritism for her younger sons, the two-headed Porch and the two-headed Prague. Ulvik accuses the Queen of having passed on bad genes to Boo. Sirena rebuffs this by pointing out Boo's lack of grotesque features, like his father. It was also mentioned that Boo is the oldest of Porch and Prague, but doesn't look like he's older than them. She claims that his innocent looks and unassuming personality will lead to a revolt if he remains crown prince. Ulvik decides that he will have to teach his son to be a brat, blaming the modern school system for lack of discipline. In Sinister School, Professor Nidaris teaches his class to cause disorder, inflict pain, and follow the troll golden rule. Do unto others before they do unto you. His lesson is interrupted by Ulvik, who arrives to test his son's educations. While Prague demonstrates his understanding of humans, and Porch demonstrates a knowledge of troll conduct, the king only cares about Boo's learning. The crown prince timidly answers his father's questions, taken from the troll Bible, correctly, but finishes by politely asking to return to his seat. Upon hearing Boo utter the words, "Thank you," Ulvik begins shouting at his son, accusing him of profanity and disgrace, at which Boo begins to cry. Infuriated with Boo showing tears, Ulvik sends the class fleeing at his rage. Later, the young trolls make good on their lessons, ruining each other's fun in the winter weather. Boo sits alone in the palace courtyard, hurt by his father's tirade, while Ulvik is scolding Professor Nidaris for not making Boo bad enough. A dim-witted troll named Rybo tells Porch and Prague that they should eat their eldest brother, making Prague the new crown prince. A devious bull-headed troll named Stav suggests that the princes do not have the nerve to deal with Boo, to which they protest that the king would kill them if they hurt the troll prince. Based on a rumor that the humans are currently involved in something strange, the four trolls devise a plan to trick Boo into venturing to People Land, in the hopes that he will get killed by humans while investigating. They tell Boo that the humans may be planning an invasion of the Troll Kingdom, and that as prince it is his duty to investigate. While Boo is at first hesitant, he is inspired by the thought that uncovering the humans' plot will make his father proud. Summoning his courage, Boo decides to lead the four trolls to People Land in spite of his timidity. facing the trollish fears of humans and those who are different. Their first obstacle down the mountain is the troll bridge, which is made of rotting ropes held together by frost. Though the trolls hope Boo will fall, he makes it safely across and the five continue down the mountain, encountering two rabbits and a squirrel. Finally they arrive in a small Norwegian mountain village. Venturing to the nearest cottage, Boo witnesses a woman baking and eating gingerbread men. Mistaking them for flattened, cooked trolls, Boo flees the scene in horror, telling his companions to run for their lives. Though the trolls believe Boo, they tie him to the top of a tree near a ledge of the mountain on their way back to the kingdom. Boo pleads with his brothers to rescue him, but they mock him for using the word please, and leave him to the mercy of the humans. Two young girls, Christy and Sonia, come with their father to find a Christmas tree. Choosing the tree to which Boo is bound, they chop it down and haul it onto their sleigh, singing a carol. While decorating the tree at home, the two sisters discover Boo, whom they take for a gnome based on his friendly appearance. Avoiding their questions, Boo demands to know more about them, confused by the good nature of their song versus his knowledge of humans. As the girls explain caroling and Christmas, Boo is confused by the word Christ. After Christy mentions the Bible, Boo is curious to see what humans use. Sonia reads Luke chapter 2 verses 10 to 11, prompting Boo to ask what Savior means. After learning that Christ is sent to love the whole world, Boo asks if the whole world includes him. Christy and Sonia, taking him for a gnome, don't hesitate to say yes. When he questions God's love for trolls, the girls affirm that, as evil as they may be, God must love them. As he listens to Boo's shock, his heart begins to beat for the first time in his life. Sonia finds a miniature Bible used as an ornament and gives it to the prince. As Boo begins to read, the house tremors and winds howl outside. Horrified, he runs to the window and realizes the king's messenger, Malfred, has been sent by his father to retrieve him. Boo frantically tries to help Christy and Sonia escape, but realizing they have no place to go but their home, he leaves them to find Malfred before the messenger finds them. As he runs into the mountains, Boo realizes he finally understands love. Manifested as a ruinous, fiery-eyed monster of the wind, Malfred freezes the awaiting Boo and carries him to a cell in the palace prison. As Boo wanders confused in his cell, he hallucinates of Christy and Sonia before realizing they're gone. Remembering them brings to mind his Bible, however, which Boo begins to read, discovering the true golden rule. He falls asleep reading Luke, but is roused by the reawakening of his heartbeat. As he finally accepts that Sonia and Christy must be right, two giant troll guards remove him from his cell and take him to a public trial. As the crowd accuses him of sedition and mocks his appearance, Ulvik explains that Boo has been brought before the Council of Elders to determine whether he is fit to remain crown prince. Borch and Prague have testified against Boo by lying, claiming he attempted to push them off the troll bridge. They add that he tied them to trees and bragged of spying for the humans, which horrifies the crowd and Boo's parents. Finally, Borch concludes that the humans plan to cook and eat the trolls, at which Queen Cyrena accuses Boo of trying to kill her babies. Ulvik protests that there is no evidence against his son, but Krill, the prosecuting attorney, charges Boo with heresy, while Stav points out that Boo is at least guilty of desertion. Agreeing that if Boo has committed heresy then he is guilty, Ulvik encourages his son to prove his knowledge of trollship, at which Cyrena accuses her husband of favoritism. The king proceeds to ask his son the same questions he had asked him previously in Sinister School. Boo, however, recites the biblical golden rule, his belief in Jesus, and that he has a heart full of love. As he speaks, he fails to notice his nose shrink, his tail disappear, and his ears lose their points. Not understanding what Boo is saying, but recognizing its contradiction to the Troll Bible, the court accuses him of blasphemy. Irate, the king not only strips Boo of his princeship, but disowns him and leaves him to the mercy of the crowd. Boo escapes amid the confusion and heads down the mountain in a snowstorm. Discovering that the former prince has escaped, Cyrena fears that he will lead the humans to the Troll Kingdom and begs Ulvik to retrieve him. The king, however, depressed by the loss of his favorite son, assures his wife that Boo has never been a traitor and will not cause them any trouble. He tells Cyrena to let him go as it's all over, having eavesdropped on their parents' conversation. Borch and Prague find Stav and Rybo and head out armed into the night to kill Boo. Lost in the wilderness, Boo laments that he has no home since he is neither a troll nor a human. He finds shelter by a tree and falls asleep. Meanwhile, the murderous trolls are chased back up the mountain by a fox, the troll bridge crumbling behind them and trapping them in the Troll Kingdom. As they flee, they are watched warily by a gnome named Bjorn and his wife. Discovering Boo at the base of their treehouse, Bjorn ventures down to see if he is another troll, but proclaims that he must be a traveling gnome. As Boo protests, he catches his reflection in a slab of ice and sees that he is no longer trollish. Bjorn asks Boo to stay in the valley to help out the other gnomes with their work. After Boo learns that he is in the village where Christy and Sonia live, Bjorn takes him to their cottage. Back in the present, Boo readies himself for bed. He explains that while his story may sound like a fairy tale, the story of Jesus is not. He falls asleep as the Star of Bethlehem shines outside. Cast: Danny Cooksey, Crown Prince Boo; Vincent Price, King Ulvik, Christy and Sonia's father; Jonathan Winters, King Ulvik; Cloris Leachman, Queen Cyrena; Don Knotts, Professor Nidaris; Charlie Adler, Stav, Trolls; Michael Bell, Rybo, Krill, Trolls; William Christopher, Bjorn; Laurie Faso, Prince Borch; Amy Foster, Christy; Christina Longy, Sonia; Rob Paulson, Prince Borch; Neil Ross, Prince Prague; BJ Ward, Bjorn's wife, Trolls; Frank Welker, Prince Prague; Alvy Dorman, Malfred; Crew: Gordon Hunt, Recording Director; Andrea Romano, Animation Casting Director; Chris Zimmerman, Talent Coordinator; Music: Sinister School, Don Knotts; Down from the Mountain, Danny Cooksey; Sleigh Bells in December, Amy Foster; Christina Longy, Vincent Price; God Loves All He Made, Amy Foster; Christina Longy, Danny Cooksey; I'm So All Alone, Danny Cooksey. Home media releases: Warner Archive released the special along with the Cabbage Patch Kids' First Christmas as a double bill on DVD on October 15, 2013.